Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Scots on the Run podcast, where we take a behind-the-scenes look at what's happening in the Gordon College cross-country and track and field programs. In this episode, we're recapping CCC Championship weekend, and we have double champions. Our champions in the 100 and 200 on both the men's and women's side. Henry Lonstein, Amaris Goodwin, joining us. We'll get to you both in just a moment. But first, as always, Coach Miela, how are you?
I'm great. It was a really good weekend. We have a big group going to New England this upcoming weekend, so we're really excited about that. So while most people are done, we're excited to kind of have a few people, like I said, a good group carrying on this weekend. It should be a great way to end the season.
Yeah, so our women took fourth overall as a team. The men took third, but we had a lot of great individual performances.
Yeah, we had 9 event champions in total. We had 6 on the women's side, 3 on the men's side. The 6 event champions on the women's side is more than any other women's team. I think Suffolk had 5 and Endicott had 4 event champions. And then if you combine both men's and women's programs, Roger Williams had 13 event champions. We had 9. And then I do think it was Suffolk that was next in line with 5th. And so all that to say, we have very high quality athletes in our program. Our best athletes can run with the best of anybody in our conference, and hopefully we can showcase this weekend that they can run with anybody in the region as well.
Well, let's start with you, Amaris. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
So you had a great weekend. You were on the 4x1 relay, and then, like I mentioned, you swept both the 100 and 200. So tell us how your meet went.
It was a very good meet. I went to bed very early the night before.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's like
Start the day.
It's literally like 9 p.m. and I am in bed, lights off, telling everyone to be quiet. Then I got I think I got like 8.5 hours. We had an early bus the next morning, but I was just really dialed in, I guess. Like I had a goal and I just got out there and hit them.
What was your goal?
My goals were, I wanted to try to break my record in the 100. I got very close with -2.0 wind, so that's...
I was just going to say, I think you probably would have if the wind had been cooperating.
So that goal is just postponed to this weekend at New England, so that'll be good.
I like how you said that.
And then I hit my goal in the 200. I wanted to break 26 wind legally, and I did.
Dog.
So that was very exciting. And then my 4x1 ran very great. I love my team so much. And then same for the 4x4. And we're running the 4x4 and 4x1 at New England as well this weekend. So, yeah.
And 50.02, that's a new school record. I think, is that the 4th time you've broken that record this year alone in the 4x1?
Yeah, it's been very exciting because every single time that we get out on the track together, we cut off chunks of time. So I think from the very first time we ran it this season, we've cut off a second. And that's just very significant when it comes to sprinting races.
Oh, yeah.
So that was very exciting. And our goal is to break 50, and we got to 50.02, which is so close. So our goal is to break that this weekend.
Yeah. And we've been taking, in the women's 4x1, we've just been taking small chunks out all season. So I think our first was 51.09 or something like that. And we were happy about that because they had broken the previous school record. And then we got under 50, and then we got 50.72 or something.
Got under 51, you mean?
Excuse me, got under 51. And then, and then we got 50.7. So this was a huge jump. We took almost 3/4 of a second off our time.
Absolutely.
And so that's one of the relays we're taking to New England's. And we want to see 49, for that group because we know that they're capable of it. But she was also on 4x4. So Amaris ended up with second in the 4x1. She won the 1 and the 2, and she anchored our 4x4, which ended up getting third. So all conference in all 3 of those events, or 4 of the 4 events. Yeah.
Yeah. So 2 golds, a silver, and a bronze, I guess.
That's right.
In total.
That's right.
And then you, my friend, I think I actually sold you a little bit short. You're actually a triple champion.
That's right.
By virtue of one of your relays as well. I think 3 golds and a silver on your end. So tell us about your meet.
Yeah, I was super excited. I try to go into these meets as well prepared as possible, not putting too much pressure on myself to succeed, but also expecting to do well, just because I've trusted our training and how I've been performing this season. And so I kind of just went into the day hoping that I could give my very best every single race and just move on from one to one into the next. And so we started the day in the 4x1, which felt good. Usually, 4x1 is my first race of the day, and usually that's where I kind of like shake the rust off. And I never really feel good in the 4x1 just because it's like first race of the day. But this week I felt really strong just starting us off. I felt like I ran a really good leg, and we ended up running a season best time. For second place, definitely was hoping to get the win there just because I think relays are just so like, energy is always so high, you always want to get the win. But I was very happy. We improved our season best by a lot, so I was very grateful for that group of guys. And then in the 100, I was very excited. There was a ton of wind, so my time was nowhere near what I wanted it to be, but that's okay because conference days, we're just going for place. And I felt really good going into that race. I felt like my start was where it needed to be. I felt like we had been doing overspeed training the whole week before, so I really just felt like I was going to be able to run my best race. I just didn't know how that best was going to stack up to everybody else. And I ended up winning, which has been my goal since I got here as a freshman. So that was huge. Like I couldn't have been more excited about that. So I was super grateful, and then I was like, all right, well, we got to lock in because we still have a 200 to go, and that's definitely just a harder physical event for me. And I started out in the 200, and I had no idea what it was going to be like because I knew there was definitely some good competition in that heat. And I remember I came off the curve, and I was trying to re-accelerate, and I never think during the 200 because usually I'm too tired and I black out a little bit. But I had a thought in my head, and I was like, shoot, we might win this thing. And I was just coming down the home stretch being like, just stay in front, just stay in front, just stay in front. And we did, and I ran a pretty significant PR that I was not expecting to run. I was like...
With the wind, too.
With the wind coming at my face. So that was just like... That was kind of just like a in shock moment for me. I was very excited to win it, but I was also like, wow, we ran a lot faster than I thought I was going to.
Yeah.
And then to cap it off with an electric 4x4. That won the meet was just that was probably my most proud race of the day. Like I'm probably more excited about the individual events, but to run all day and then to finish with the 4x4 and run a leg that I was very happy with, I was just like I felt like I was on top of the world a little bit. I was excited.
So I know you ran a personal best in terms of hand times, split time in your 4x4, but you and I are both proud of a moment in that leg. Tell me more about it. So you're the second leg.
Yeah.
And so we're in a 3-turn stagger, so that means you run around the curve and then you get to cut in. So you tell us more about that leg.
Yeah, this is probably my favorite moment of the day. So I get the stick from Jacob Smith. We're out in lane 7, and the two guys who are ahead of us, it's a Hartford team, and I think it was
Roger or something.
I thought it was Roger, but then I was watching the film, and I think it might have been Wentworth or something like that.
Yeah.
Either way, it was Hartford and another team who were on the inside lane, so they were a little bit ahead, and I was coming off the curve knowing that I had to cut in, and usually the goal is to make the cut in. You don't want to cut in like immediately because then you're wasting energy moving horizontally,
right.
And you want to make sure it's like the longest cut in as possible. Once you get to the inside, you're at the 200 start. And so I checked my shoulder real quick to see where all these other guys were to see if I could cut them off or not. I think the Wentworth kid, and I was like, okay, I got him, and I just cut in right away so I would be in front of him, but not in lane 1. Because I saw the Hartford kid on the inside, and I was like, I saw him in front of me, I was like, no, I think I can get him. And so I sped up a little bit more than I'm comfortable doing just to get right in front of him, and then I cut right in front of him to almost cut him off, which I was super fired up about because then I was like, okay, just hang on. And ended up hanging on until the end of the leg and beating him out. But I made that same move a year ago at New England's when I ran the 4x4, and I made that move, and I was super excited about making that move at New England's. And then the second I made the move, the kid just passed me and dogged me for the rest of the race, and I lost it. It was so awful, I was dead.
Yeah.
So I was really, really proud to be able to make that move this year and then hang on and finish it. And then Peter McGinn and Jesse just ran absolute monster legs and got us the win.
Yeah, no, last year at New England's, I think you ran maybe a second and a half slower than what you ran in your leg on Saturday. And I was going nuts over at the start line and because I could see that happening. I mean, that's one of the reasons why you put a guy who tends to be more of a 1-2 person in your second leg, because he's going to have just the true foot speed to get ahead of people when they got to cut in. And so yeah, I was screaming like, "That's why I'm putting you there." That's it. That's what, because I could see you coming off the curve, and obviously I'm on the other side of the track, and yeah, I could see it was just like kind of, it felt like you were shoulder to shoulder, and I was like, be aggressive, and then I saw you just kind of speed up just a little bit, get ahead of them, and then you just continued to widen the gap after that. It was definitely a proud moment as a coach for sure. But I want to talk about a few things, and I told our sprints team this yesterday. So we're sitting here with the conference champions in the 1 and the 2, right? So in the men's 100, women's 100, men's 200, women's 200, we took the top 8 finishers of those races, and so in a total of 32 races, right? Only 4 races were a personal best, at least according to TFRS, right? And 3 of those personal bests came on our roster. And that's how significant the wind was, right? It was pushing people back. The men's 100, people ran an average of 0.24, so almost a quarter of a second slower than what their personal bests are. The women ran 0.16 slower than their personal best. In the women's 200, they ran 0.60 slower. And in the men's 200, it was an average of 0.36. So the wind was so significant. Again, it was pretty much -2 all day. And so for these two to not only, I mean, they had significant personal bests in their 200s. It just shows you how strong they are and how ready they are for big races this weekend. Gosh, and then, the last thing I gotta mention this too. Henry, tell them what you ran last year at CCC Champions.
In the 100?
In the 100.
I ran 11:42.
And what'd you run this year?
I ran 11:42 again. But tell them
Yeah.
cool.
So last year Henry got 5th in the 100. Actually, I keep a picture of that because you can see between the 2nd place finisher and the 5th place finisher, they were separated by less than a 1/10 of a second.
Can't wait to take that picture down.
I'm going to give it to you right after this. But it just goes to show you how close things are. That race was with 1.9 wind at their back, right? So it was a wind legal race, but it was wind pushing them back, pushing them down the track.
Pushing them forward.
Yeah. Exactly. And then this race, he ran 11:42, but he had 2.0 wind pushing him back, right? Resisting him from running faster. And I don't know. I just think that's pretty cool. Last year, I know how disappointed you were because you knew you were faster than what you ran at conference, and it's just funny. You ran the same exact time. You're faster, but you're just satisfied because you ran better than the competition did on Saturday.
So you were going through all the event champions at the start. Rachel, another double championship, 1,500 and the 5,000.
Yeah, no, she went out and took it in the 1,500. I posted this picture. I just think the picture of her like way ahead of everybody else is so sweet. And I didn't know what she was going to do in the 15 because she doesn't race it often, so I didn't know if she was going to try to sit and kick or what. But she just took it. I think she got out to a 30-meter lead, and then in the first 200 meters, and then didn't let it up. And then in the 5K, and this isn't. I don't mean to brag for her, but I mean she was pacing our girl for the first mile and a half or so, Carolyn Day, her teammate, and then she just kind of opened it up. But it was, it wasn't, she made it look really easy. She said it was harder than it looked, but she was kind of just preparing herself because she's really focused on a 10K for nationals, and it's certainly a luxury to have someone who can kind of use their conference championship as a little bit of a workout. So, yeah.
Imagine breaking your own school record by 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, that's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
How she just continues to get faster.
Yeah. And unfortunately, she's got another year here.
Yeah.
So we're excited about that.
Yeah, for sure. And then on the throw side, Olivia and Tiana won championships in the hammer and shot, I believe, respectively.
Yeah, Tiana's defended her title. I know she wasn't as happy with her mark. Again, fortunately, she's already tied her school record this year, and she's looking forward to competing at New England Championships this weekend. And then Olivia Garrity, she's been on the podcast. She's been a freshman that we've been excited about all year. And she had a major breakthrough. I think she beat, the 2nd place finisher was 7 meters behind her. So she had a significant gap on the next place score. And she had almost a 3-meter PR. we were working on some things leading up to this meet, not only her mental and like her mental approach, but just getting her to feel her spin a little bit more. And gosh, it's kind of like I get this in coaching almost any event. Like you see certain things in practice, and you're just kind of waiting for the athlete to put it together in competition. And Liv has certainly been in that group for a while, where you just see her even in warm-ups. The last few weeks, it's felt like her warm-up throws have been phenomenal, and then it just comes to competition, she hasn't been able to put it together. So it was a huge breakthrough to see her do that. Matter of fact, when she PR'd her first throw in finals, she threw 45 something, and we all went crazy. And then the second throw in finals was another good one. We all knew it was good, and that's what ended up being her personal best, what ended up being her best throw of the day. And everybody was leaning over, like pretty much next to the cage to hear her mark, and we just heard the officials say 46, and everybody erupted. We didn't even get to hear the rest of the number, so it ended up being 46-48. But that right now puts her 7th in New England by 1 centimeter. So she's definitely the top-ranked. I think she's the top-ranked freshman in New England. She's the 4th-ranked freshman in D3 nationally. So we're really proud of her.
So looking ahead to next week with New England's, I know, like you said, we've got a good group going here. Peter McGinn, also want to shout him out. He finally
broke the school record in the 400 hurdles.
School record in the 400 hurdles. Also got under the qualifying time there. Took 2nd place in that event. But who all do we have going to New England's to compete this weekend?
Yeah, we've got. Let's see. The individual qualifiers are. Actually, our first 2 legs in both our men's and women's 4x1. So we got Amaris, Henry, Lizzie, and Daniel Tuning. They'll all be running the Open 100. Rachel qualified for 3 events individually, and Amaris qualified for 3 events individually. She'll only run the 100 and 200. Rachel's only going to run the 1500, even though she could run the 5K, 10K. She qualified for all 3. Carolyn Day qualified for the 5K, 10K. She's going to focus on the 10K. And then Jesse Commanda qualified for the 800 and the 1500. He's going to focus on the 1500. And then you just mentioned Peter McGinn, who just broke his school record. It wasn't his school record, but it is now. He broke the Gordon school record by 0.9 seconds, so almost by a full second in the 400 hurdles. So he'll compete as an individual. And then we've got Tiana Fox in the shot put, and then Olivia Garrity, who we were talking about earlier as well. I think I got all the individuals. And then we'll run all 4 of the kind of traditional relays, both men's and women's 4x1s, 4x4s. We think our men's 4x1 definitely has another gear. We didn't have a great 3rd exchange, so we're hoping if we clean that up, we could run even faster. And we talked about the women wanting to break 50. We think they can do that. We actually looked at the splits in our 4x4, and we think that on the women's side, and we think if those girls are a little bit more fresh, that they're going to have a good shot to break the school record in the 4x4, so we're going for that as well. Yeah, and then the men's 4x4, again, they balled out, and they deserve another chance to get after it. So yeah, we're pretty excited about the group we have going up, because pretty much everybody who's coming owns a school record in some way or is going to try to improve a school record in some way. So hopefully we come back with a lot of all-region performances, a lot of school records. Amaris, do you want to say anything?
I don't know, I'm just excited. I think everyone is very prepared to have their best races this weekend. So I'm just excited to compete and then watch everyone else compete as well.
Yeah. And hopefully, if everybody, like I said, if you flip all those averages in the 1 and the 2, I'm hoping that we can run 0.6 faster in the 200 or whatever. That would be amazing if to see Amaris do that. I think everybody there is ready to finish the season very well. I'm actually excited about that, because I think both mentally and physically we've done a good job of balancing our training plans so that people aren't too fatigued in there. I don't know, I feel like that's a big difference this year, is people don't feel totally burned out by this time of year, and it's almost like, wow, I can't believe it's already over. So we're pretty excited about that, and we'll see you next week, hopefully with a lot more good things to talk about.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth. I can't believe it's May 1st. I can't believe regionals are this weekend.
Yeah, 2-3 days away.
Trust me,
wrap
I
up
know.
the season. Yeah.
I feel like I can go for another month.
That's great. Because hopefully next year we are.
You gonna come out for cross country and have a shorter season?
Coach banned me.
Yeah, that's definitely not happening.
I'm not allowed.
Never again.
I had my time to shine.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you next week to recap New England's.